Hello, and welcome to Help Desk with Joe, and with me, as always, Joe.
Here we are.
We're back, and we got some cool stuff and a cool announcement. I know you're just excited. You've been excited. You got here early.
Yeah.
Got a prop with some interesting notes on it, which I really like.
Yeah.
And I know you got a lot of stuff, so go ahead. Let's break the news. The new announcement today that's hours old.
Okay, and this came from Apple. They've released not one, but 2 new iPhones.
Awesome. So, and this, again, hours old. Tell us a little bit about the announcement and what that means for people.
Okay. The announcement today from Apple was they have 2 new versions of their iPhones coming out. There's some software upgrades, there's some new features of the hardware, and they're releasing a new operating system. And there's a lot of upgrades and changes that they're including, but we're just throwing out the new features that hasn't been released before or the major changes.
Right. So, a whole new platform, lots of upgrades, and a new phone.
2 new phones.
2 new phones, all in one big announcement. So that's an exciting day, especially for Apple users. It's an exciting day for people in technology.
Right.
What does that mean? I mean, really, when you sum it up, what does that mean for you? And I know you use Apple. I'm holding out. I'm a Droid user.
Yeah.
But,
so this is pretty much useless, and you really don't care.
The only thing it might do is it might convert me to picking up an iPhone the next time I choose to get a phone.
Right.
But for you as an iPhone user, what does that mean to you? What are you looking forward to? What are you going to do with this news?
Well, I'm looking forward to some of the new features that they're releasing that we'll discuss, and also something I have to be prepared for to support and get a feel for whenever customers come in.
Right. So you kind of have 2 facets. As an iPhone user, you're interested because you use it.
Right.
And secondly, as a technology guy, technology guru, you need to be familiar with it to help people use it.
Right.
So, okay, what do you want to start with? Let's talk about the update, I guess.
Okay.
That's probably the logical order. Tell me about the update.
Okay, the first major update they announced, well, they announced this a couple months ago. They went in further detail today, was iOS 7, which is their Apple operating system on mobile devices for their iPads, their iPhones, and iPods, iPod Touches.
An across-the-board update that's going to make everybody's Apple-compatible devices across the board operate better.
Right. It's better performance, new bells and whistles, more security. So.
Yep. I got a little caught up there because it took a second for that to register. It's across the board. That is fantastic news. They didn't just leave it to one product. It's all the Apple products.
Right.
What do you think in your mind? Will that really? I mean, Apple's pretty easy to use as it is. What do you think is going to be the best feature of that? Is it going to be the more compatibility or offer more features? What are you looking at there? What's got you excited about this update?
Well, the one major thing that comes with iOS 7 that they've not talked about, well, they talked about today, was AirDrop.
Right.
And with AirDrop, it's a capability before, if I had a picture or contact or something on my phone I wanted to send to Cena, I had to either send it as a text message or a email.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Now I can send it to her via Bluetooth, or if we're on the same wireless network, I can just push a button and send it straight to her phone.
For people like myself that aren't tech savvy, what does that really mean? I mean, I know what you're saying. I don't know how to distinguish between the difference of email messaging or Bluetooth via the same network. How does that separate itself out? What does the average person need to know to say, wow? Well, I know you're excited about it, but to me, I'm like, I only know how to message or email, so for me to put that into a context that makes sense, I'm struggling.
Okay, well, let's say you're allotted so much text messaging a month.
Okay, yep,
now,
everybody has a data plan.
Right. Well, now, as far as your text messages go, you don't have to send that over a text.
Okay.
You can send it directly to her phone, or like if you have a group of people, if you have a picture of the girls that you're wanting to send to your family members, you can send it to them directly, and it goes straight to their phone. There's no going to email and trying to figure out where it went here, there, and yonder. It's going straight to their phone.
Going straight to their phone, and then you also mentioned Bluetooth. It'll go via Bluetooth.
Right.
So it cuts around your data plan, cuts around sending it through your email box and having to go check your email to get it. Direct sending.
Right.
And it's called AirDrop, right?
Yeah, it's available on Bluetooth or other iOS devices that's on your same internal network.
Nice. Okay, that's a big deal because I know the phone companies are really cutting back on data usage and limiting your contracts. There's no more contracts of free data. It's all limited.
Right.
Okay, so talking about stuff like music and other software and capabilities that people have, how will that affect them as well in that area?
Well, there's a lot more features, a lot of stuff they're kind of brushing up, polishing up, making it look real nice, a little bit easier. And the actual release date for iOS 7 is next Wednesday, September 18th. And make sure what devices are compatible. The iPhone 4 on up is compatible with iOS 7.
Yep.
And for iPads, iPad 2 on up, including the iPad mini.
Okay.
And then the iPods is the 5th generation iPod Touches.
Okay.
Are compatible.
So for the folks out there, they need to have at least those and forward to make this work good for them.
Right.
Sounds great. And I know you got some stuff listed for iTunes Radio and so forth.
Right.
Things that'll affect.
Well, iTunes Radio is another new feature they've released.
Okay, talk about that.
Okay, iTunes Radio, you know, everybody's heard of Pandora, Slacker, some kind of internet streaming radio. Well,
Right.
Apple's come to the table with their own version of the software to run on their iOS devices.
Nice. So that kind of combines your iTunes with having a radio feature, I'll say.
Well, yeah, you can stream online.
Right. Okay. Sounds great. Talk a little bit about, I'm not sure where to go from there, but I know you got 2 different versions of phones that are coming out.
Yes.
I'll let you introduce that because I'm reading your notes, but I don't know what it means. It's all Greek to me. So talk about that.
Well, if you become an Apple user, it's understand a lot more.
Yeah, it would make more sense. I'm
Yeah. Okay. The 2 new phones today they announced was the iPhone 5C, which
Okay.
I'm assuming that the C stands for color because they come in a different array of colors, and the 5S.
Okay.
So what they're doing is, always before with the device release, they would take the previous version and knock $100 off of it. Well, since they've released 2 new phones, they've changed it up a little bit. So
Yeah.
instead of making the iPhone 5 available, that phone is pretty much obsolete.
So it's no longer available. You're into the 5S or the 5C, and that's your choices.
Or the previous 4S version.
Okay.
But there's no just 5. It's either the
Right.
5C or 5S or the
Okay,
4S.
so a complete upgrade. That sounds great. Talk a little bit about options that you'll have on those 2 phones. Then.
Okay. The 5S or the 5C, the colors come in green, blue, yellow, pink, and white.
Okay.
And the 5S colors are available in silver gray and space gray. Or silver, gold, and space gray. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the 5S is going to be more, I'll say, earth colors or mineral colors, your gold, your silver, and your gray. And then the 5C is going to be your main colors, green, blue, yellow, pink, and white, so
Right.
more vibrant colors. Okay,
Right.
so you got two
Which is
different
a-
looks, 2 different modes. What does that really mean? Why the separation, or what will they offer that signifies it?
Well, the 5C phones are kind of your, they don't have as much horsepower under the hoods. The 5S has many bells and whistles. So
Okay.
I think they're trying to hit the marketplace. Like if you're wanting to get your kids a first
so
iPhone.
first-time phone for a kid, a teenager, they'll want the more colorful, green,
Right.
blue, yellow, pink. Less money.
Yes, with a 2-year contract, the 5C, the 16 gig, they're selling for $99.
Okay, so cheap. Wow, that's great.
That's with a 2-year contract.
Right.
And then the 32 gig is for $199. There's
Okay.
no 64 gig available on the 5C.
Okay, so in the 5S, go ahead and compare that.
The 5S, the prices on it at 16 gigs start at $199 with a 2-year contract. The 32 gig is $299, and the 64 gig is the $399.
So if you really utilize your phone as a tool, you'll want to go with the 5S, more commercial application, I guess. Get the 64 gig, and that's the differences you're going to see. You, like you said, more horsepower,
Right.
more of a work machine.
Plus, one of the additional add-ons that they've thrown into the 5S, it now has a fingerprint reader built in.
And we were talking about that earlier. You know, people do their codes, do the picture stuff. Now it'll identify directly to you. No
Right.
guessing, no way to break into it. Thumbprint, fingerprint identification. That's your security.
And the nice thing of it is there's not an additional button. Or you don't have to do anything special. It's the home button. You just push the home button and read your thumbprint right there.
Nice. And some other features that come with it?
Is the slow motion video. It's another add-on that they've added on to the video side, which hasn't been available before, is a little more editing tools where you can actually create slow motion video capability.
Right. Okay, so Apple stepping up in a big way with a huge announcement today. Changing, well, I won't say changing, because this is what they do.
Right.
You know, that they throw them out there and they shock the world with these new announcements and really upgrades and changing their platforms to where it's geared towards the user. What are your overall thoughts? Overall, fantastic,
Well,
great, good. What's it mean for the average person?
on the tech side of things, Apple always runs their things in what they call tick-tock setup.
Right.
Every other year it's a tick, and then the next year is a talk. The iPhone 5 was a tick, which all major upgrades, and the
Right.
5S, the 5C, is on the talk, where it has some minor upgrades, a little more polished product.
Right. And I think with that, specific markets.
Right.
You know, the 5S was kind of for everybody. This one is, they're actually reaching for the younger market with the
Right.
vibrant colors, less cost. And then I hate to say older people, but more work-oriented people having a workhorse, as you say.
Right.
Geared specifically for that person.
Right.
And I think that's great. That's hitting a niche and making it clear what their intentions are. Okay.
Right.
And that's, as a technology guru where you go in and fix stuff and help people, what's it mean to you as a technology guy?
There's just more devices we have to support.
Do you think this will make your job easier when you go in and work with people on their plans, help them pick a phone, help them adapt it to their home place and their workplace?
Oh yeah, what really helps is the pricing.
Okay.
I mean, because there's a lot of people that would really like to get an iPhone, but the cost just doesn't justify it. So now that they had the 4S, which is free, which they did have the iPhone 4 free, but now the 4S they're offering for free on a 2-year agreement.
Right.
And then if you say, well, I want to go up to a 5 because the 5 is the bigger screen, there's an actual affordable options.
Yep. Okay. And that's something that's going to appeal to your customers and people that you help out in a big way. So that's huge. Okay. As an individual iPhone user, which one are you going to pick up?
I think I'll have to go for the 5S.
Cena, open up your pocketbook. Here we go.
Yeah, but she needs the 5C, so it's really good.
I have a feeling 64 gigs is in your future.
That was a little hard to justify even on my budget.
Really? Okay. All right. So lots of good stuff. When do you think this will actually, I know you said it releases on the 18th.
The iOS 7's on the 18th. Pre-orders start the 18th, which is next Wednesday, and you can actually line up in the Apple Store on the 20th.
Are you going somewhere to stand in line?
I don't think so. As big an Apple fan I am, I just can't justify staying in line forever.
And you have to work with this, so it's probably not as exciting as someone that doesn't.
Right.
Because you see it every day.
Right.
All right. For people that want to ask you questions, want to get more information, what do they need to know? Like if I'm walking in to talk to you and say, Joe, I'm just not sure. I don't know what the update means. I don't know what phone I should look at. What kind of information do they need to have ready for you so that you can make a good decision, help them make a good decision, I guess?
Well, if you're current an iPhone, iPod, iPad user, and you're wanting to know, okay, what's this big iOS update going to consist of? We can work with you, show you on the Apple website. They actually have it drawn out, say, okay, here's what the new features are, and here's what it's going to look like. I mean, so that's a big help.
Yeah, and I think from what you've discussed earlier, this is a great update.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost, in my mind, I get the feeling that this is something you should go ahead and do.
Right.
I mean, I know it's going to cost, but...
Well, now the iOS update, the software update itself, if you currently have a device that'll support it, the update's free.
It just goes automatic. Oh, okay, well, that's even better. Shoot, why not? But then you'll have to help people kind of learn to navigate it again. So if someone has questions or problems, they can call you and you can walk them through that.
Right.
Okay, and then picking up a new phone, I know you have an Apple phone now. What would make you want to upgrade to one of these phones?
If I had an iPhone 3G or 3GS, if I had an older iPhone, I would definitely get it just for the support capability as, compatibility with the software and security updates. I have an iPhone 4. Since they're supporting iOS 7 out to it, I might not upgrade. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of questionable on that one. But if I had a 3G or 3GS, I'd definitely go for the upgrade.
Right. So it's worth it in that matter, and then the rest of it's just when you're ready.
Right.
Okay. Excuse me. If people need to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
You can give us a call our offices at 304-927-3588 or visit our website at amdigitaltechnologies.com.
And of course, if you're like me,
check us out
on Facebook. Yes. See those daily specials, get the news updates, and be aware of what's going on, and then you can check it out on the show. But Facebook is the way to go. You see those daily specials, and you guys always have good deals. And as always, what I really like about this, about the show and what you bring to the table is the fact you're either trying to help people save money, make their lives more efficient, and help them make good decisions when they do work with technology.
Right.
Because a lot of people are like me. I didn't know what this meant, but having you talk me through it helps out a lot.
That's the thing, they had the hour-long announcement today. Well, and they go through a lot of the tech specs, which to the common consumer, they don't care.
I wouldn't care about that. I want to hear you tell me what it really means.
Yeah.
So that's a big
the only thing you want to know is what are they changing and how's that going to affect me?
Yep. And Joe, how can you make it work for me? That's what I want to know. So, good deal. Great show today. Exciting announcement. I knew something was going on when you showed up early and said, I have some good stuff.
Yeah.
So I knew something big had happened. So, and I think that's fantastic. Okay. Make sure you watch our older shows and check out the iPod, iCasts.
Your podcast or...
Man, one of these days I'll get that right.
Make it big
Podcast.
sign.
I know. I think I have to write it down.
See, if you use an Apple user, it just rolls off the tongue.
There you go. I'd be familiar with it.
Yeah.
So you have to put it in your show notes.
All right.
Now, closing statements read here. But,
Yeah.
But as usual, and I think we're excited. This show in general, we're going to upgrade soon.
Yes.
We're working on some changes, some upgrades. This show will get a facelift, so to speak.
Well, not only this show, but all of our shows.
Yeah, all our podcasts.
Our entire channel is going to be upgraded.
So we're some exciting stuff coming here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So check back with us each week. Check it out. And again, if you have any questions on anything, I don't even know what show we're on. This is year 2,
yes.
So 30-some shows.
We're getting, if not 30, we're getting there.
Getting there close, okay. And always good stuff. Make sure you check them out. Check out the previous shows. And if you have any questions, contact Joe or Cena McDonald here with A&M Digital Technologies, who supports all our shows, produces all our shows, changes it all over to podcasts, and gets it out there. So big thanks to A&M Digital Technologies. We'll be back next week and look for changes in our studio.
Yeah.
And for more information, and if anybody has any questions they need answered,
you can hit us on Facebook, email us, call our offices. Our email address is info@amdigitaltechnologies.com.
And you guys are giving stuff away
Yeah.
for people that submit questions that you use.
Well, and actually, it's a kind of a double win. They get something free, and it makes my job a lot easier trying to scramble to find something to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Well, today was easy. A big iOS 7 release.
Yeah.
So, cool deal. All right. Well, Joe, good talking to you. We'll be back next week. More information, more stuff. When you go to buy technology stuff, check them out. A&M Digital Technology. Shop local. Keep your money local. Helping out the community all the way around. All right. Thanks, Joe. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.